Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Bakina, how are you? Good morning.
I'm good. How are you?
I feel like did we see you yesterday?
No.
I didn't think so. Okay. Like, I feel like I haven't seen you in a couple days.
It's been one day. Well, no, yesterday was Tuesday. It's been one day.
Okay.
We
Okay.
missed 2 meetings though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's why. I'm like, it seemed like, yeah. Good morning, Paya. Good morning, Alma and Chris. Good morning,
Good
y'all.
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Trisha.
Good morning.
Hold on 1 second, you guys. I printed something. I'm just going to grab it off the printer real quick here.
Okay.
All right, I'm back and good morning. We even got Lakeisha with us this morning. Hey, girl. And who else? Jake's on, Edel's on. Perfect. Let's get started. Today we're talking about your finances. And I will say there is you guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. The only technical difficulty we're having today is that I don't have the participant guide. So I don't have the guide that you have. If anybody actually happens to have it up and you want to shoot it over and email it to me, that'd be fantastic. Otherwise, I don't really need it, but I just kind of wanted to see what you see because I have something different than what you see. So anyways, I also have a question for the class. So today we're talking about financials, we know that. And then tomorrow we're talking about, what are we talking about tomorrow? What's tomorrow's class? Who's teaching tomorrow? But my question for you is, what do you want to do on Friday? Because Friday we have an open day. We can do whatever you feel like you need to learn. Friday is our last class for Klein 2.0, and we can do a recap of everything. But I wanted to just ask, what is it that you feel like you would still like to get some more information on?
Julia?
Yeah.
I sent you the guide.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything in particular that you guys feel like you'd like to still have some conversation around or some additional training on for Friday?
My vote would be command. That's still my just, maybe not everything, but just one thing that we have, because it still seems, I seem more familiar with it, but maybe to walk through one whole process would be my.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I was thinking to do a class that we talked about the other day on builders.
On builders. Oh, okay, on builders. You know what, I think though, I do want to do a class on builders, but I think that is something we need more than a 2-day preparation for, because I think that's
Yeah.
gonna be a big class and a lot of people would want to attend that class. It's a good, that's a good one to have. So we'll actually put that on the calendar for later this month. But yeah, that's for sure, we're gonna have a full class on new construction and builders. Anything else you guys would like to see happen or learn more about? Okay, well, in the meantime, like I said, today we're doing financial basics, and then tomorrow's actually contract for close. That's what I was drawing a blank, but tomorrow's contract to close. And that's how our day's gonna go. So I feel like I would want you guys to tell me something good. Tell me something good. I need some energy. We all need some energy. We need to liven this thing up. Tell me something good.
I'm hosting an open house on Saturday for Brittany.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
I'm excited about that.
That's good. Yeah. What else? Somebody tell me something good.
I finally placed
What
my
do you mean?
Facebook ad.
Trisha, with Brittany, what does it mean? Like, she is, she's a listing agent?
Yes.
Okay, so you're coordinating with her, and so you can share to her. Is that how? Okay.
Yes. So I'm going to conduct it for her. And then any leads that come in, I can use for myself.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, great.
Somebody else tell me something good.
No one?
Come on now. I know there's something good out there going on. Tell me
Well-
something good. It doesn't have to be real estate related, just anything.
Oh, well, then I'm alive and I'm happy about it.
Hey, all right.
I learned that my toe is not broken. It is sprained, though, and I'm thankful for that.
Okay, okay. What else? Tell me something else, somebody.
I'm working on
Julia,
getting,
this is
the first house that I closed for new construction. I'm actually working on pre-approval for 2 family members right now. So
Okay,
I got 2 referrals from that one.
okay, good.
I found out that I get another 30 days for my CE. So I'm like, instead of having to
Oh,
study
that's
8
good.
hours a day, I'll be able to get it done in 2 hours a day. So that's neat.
Okay, that's really good. Good. Anybody else? Something good.
Coffee.
I know, right? Don't I know it? Don't I know it? Okay. I haven't, Jake and Edel, you guys are here, but you're not saying much. Don't you got something good going on?
I have showings a little bit later today. I've got so 2 appointments scheduled for the week, still looking to schedule 3 more. So yeah, busy week, good week. And today was crazy hair day for my daughter. So that was fun.
Hey, I got kicked off. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
I was
Oh,
wondering.
okay, I was right. I was right in the middle of Jake saying something good. Go say, tell me. Are you still there or did we lose him?
No, I'm still here. Sorry. I had
Oh.
another call come in, so I had to decline that one and then
Oh, sorry. I'm right in the middle of telling me something good and I got kicked off.
I said that I have showings today here in just a little bit. And then got a second appointment scheduled for the week, scheduling 3 more. And today was crazy hair day for my daughter at school. So that was fun.
All right, awesome. Let's get started. let's jump right in. I'm gonna skip all of this. We're gonna talk about profit and financials and financially sound businesses, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, Keller Williams is known for its systems, technology, models, and there's a model for the millionaire real estate model for finances as well. Question for you guys, how many of you have actually read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, or are reading it, or know about it, or any of that stuff?
I know of it.
I have read it.
You know of it. Has anybody looked at the financial models in the MREA book? All right, no problem. That's what today's class is going to be about. That will be your homework. If you do not have it, I suggest you get the Red Book. We call it the KW Bible. Red Book, MREA, there's all kinds of different names for it. But those are tremendously important for us. They give you some helpful tips for systems for a really smart, sound business. On page 3 of your participant guide, let me take a look at what you sent me here. On page 3 of your participant guide, there is some successful habits. Can someone share some of those? If somebody has it up, can you share some of those successful habits that are in your participant guide?
I'll do the first one.
Yeah, go ahead. Page 3.
Okay. Oh, well, let's see. Just read them? Is that what you said,
Yeah,
Julia?
yep, just
Okay.
share some of the what we're calling successful. Is it on page 3 of your participant guide? These habits, yeah, there's the same habits I'm showing here. Yeah, the same habits. We're just reading through them, and I guess you don't need to, they're on our screen. I didn't realize it was the same ones. But what do you think are important about these habits? You don't necessarily need to read them aloud, but for instance, setting a profit goal. What's important about that habit?
Know what you're working for or working towards?
Know what you're working towards. What else?
It's really easy to get caught up on your GCI. You're basically saying I'm making $100,000 a year because you see $100,000 in the GCI number. But if you're not actually tracking your expenses, you're not actually tracking what your profitability is, then you might not really be making $100,000 a year. You might be spending so much money, you're actually making $20,000 a year. So it's important for you to know what your expenses are and what your profit is.
And so tell me, what's GCI, Edel?
The gross commission income. So most of us will charge a certain percentage for the amount that we sell per volume. I think it'll average out to 3%. So for example, if I were to sell $3 million a year, I could get essentially $90,000 in commission, gross commission. However, if I spent $70,000 trying to get that $90,000 of business, then I'm really only making $20,000 a year, which isn't profitable at all.
Correct. So basically what you're saying, Edel, is that there is a difference between the income that's coming in and actual profit. They're two totally different things.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so that's why we need to set a profit goal, because that's different than an income goal. I know a lot of us said, I want to sell 15 houses or 20 houses, and that's going to give me X amount of dollars. That's your income goal. That has nothing to do with the profit goal of what you're actually taking home. Number 2, case in point, you got taxes you got to pay. Now, just for those of you who are new, you may not have your business set up, and we'll talk a little bit about setting up your business, but are you setting aside money for your taxes? Taxes as an independent contractor need to be paid quarterly. Are you setting aside money for your taxes? That's a real question.
I will be, but I still need to know about how much should I be setting aside, Julie.
Okay, we're gonna talk a little bit about that today. Okay.
25 to 30%.
Yeah, well, Jake just gave it all away. I was sorry.
Thank you, Jake.
So yes, my checks like automatically get divided. So no
Yep.
matter like when the check comes into my account, automatically 30% will then go to separate out, so that I have that on reserve to pay quarterly.
Absolutely. Perfect. I love it. And that should be happening with everybody's check. We'll actually, in this session here, we'll go through an actual commission of how much we should take out for taxes, how much we should take out for, X, Y, and Z, so on and so forth. We'll talk about that specifically. There is a chart of accounts. Now, many of you, I don't expect everybody to be an accountant, but do you guys know what a chart of accounts is?
No.
So accountants, if you were an accountant, and we are needing to know enough about our business to run it financially sound, a chart of accounts would be what we would use as an expense. A certain expense would be in our chart of accounts. Maybe your office bill would be in your chart of accounts. There's certain, I was looking for the chart of accounts. I could just show you in the book. I can't find the page. Because it is in the MREA book. Where the heck is the chart of accounts? But yeah, I was looking so I could just show you on the screen what a chart of accounts actually looks like. But the MREA book offers you one so that you can basically, is anybody using QuickBooks? That's another question I had.
Mm-mm.
If you're not, it is a good tool to use because you can attach QuickBooks to your business banking account, because you should have a business banking account. If you have a business banking account, you can attach QuickBooks to it and it will automatically identify that when you stopped at the gas station, that was an auto expense for gas. That would be a line item in your chart of accounts, gas. That's an item in your chart of accounts. When you are at the restaurant or you meet someone at Starbucks for a buyer consultation and you buy their coffee, Starbucks will automatically show up as meals that you're going to deduct at the end of the year for an expense. That's going to be in your chart of accounts. But if you're attached, your QuickBooks can attach to your bank account and automatically do a lot of those things for you. So you can just generate a profit and loss statement in a report. Now you don't have to use QuickBooks. There's plenty of others as well. That's just one that I'm just throwing out there because that's what I use. But so chart of accounts, be fiscally savvy by reviewing your financials monthly. To Edel's point, maybe you sold 3 houses this month, good for you. And you don't know how much is actually coming out of your bank account or what you're actually spending in expenses. So you really don't know how much you made. You know what the check said, but that's very different than how much you spent on marketing and on signs and on your cost of sales and all that other kinds of things. So you do need to make sure that you're reviewing your financials monthly. And here's a biggie, pay yourself a salary. So what is that? What do I mean by that? And what does that look like, you think? How does that work? Someone help me out with, how do you pay yourself a salary?
I would say out of your business account, whatever schedule you set yourself up on, you transfer some of that money to your personal account, and that is your salary. Everything else is going to stay in your business account.
Correct. Is anybody currently paying himself a salary?
Not yet.
So this is why we're learning all this up front, so how you can set it up. So I'm just going to I'll use myself as an example. I have a business, okay? My business name is actually Icon Development. My business, the income that I get from here, working here with you guys, I'm an independent contractor. That's just one of my contracts that my business collects. My money every month is paid to Icon Development. Additionally, Icon Development, I do other things. I write curriculum, I write CE curriculum, I train for other places. That income all comes into Icon Development. That's my business. When I sell a house, that money also comes to Icon Development. That's my business name. My business is generating money by having contracts with people. You guys are also contracted. You're contracted with Keller Williams, right? Mm-hmm. So my business makes money by having various contracts. That money comes into my business, Icon Development. I'm an employee of my business. I work for Icon Development as Julia Lachey, and I pay myself a salary because my business has expenses, correct?
Mm-hmm.
My business is going to have, I drove here today. Please believe I wrote that off. You know, I went to eat yesterday, wrote that off too. I got gas I put in my car, wrote that off too. My business has expenses. Sitting in this office is an office expense. There's all these expenses that my business has. And one of the expenses that my business has is me. I'm on my payroll. And so I have to pay myself. Maybe you have an admin down the road or you pay your admin yourself. But you pay yourself because it's taxed differently. My business, my LLC, is taxed differently than I'm taxed. I make a lot less money than my business, right? A lot less money because I'm paid from my business. But get in the mindset of you are running a business. We all know that, right? That we're running a business and you work for your business. And in that mindset, not just in terms of salary, but again, when we even talk about daily activities, lead generation, remember you work for your business. So when you start doing things like playing games on Facebook at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, would you do that on somebody else's payroll? You wouldn't do that kind of money, the kind of stuff we do on our own payroll that we would never do on somebody else's payroll. Would you just decide the day that you're just going to show up at work and do absolutely nothing? Nothing that your boss asked you to do. You wouldn't keep a job that way.
Nope.
But we do it to ourselves, right? So we own a business. We work for our business. We pay ourselves a salary. We are on our payroll, and we need to act accordingly, both as an employee of our own business and actually making sure financially that we're paying ourselves a salary from our business. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
And then lastly on here is talking about preparing for a financially secure future. None of us are in this to work forever. That's not the point of a business. None of us want to just work ourselves into the ground. We are here, almost every agent I've ever met says, I want to be financially free, whatever that means to them, okay? What does that look like to be financially free, financially secure? That's the point of everything we're doing here. So what's the purpose of business? What is the purpose of you owning your own business and having a business? What's the purpose of business?
To make money.
Period. That is the purpose of any business. Business exists to make not just money, because that's income. The purpose of business is to make a profit.
Yes.
We're here to make a profit. We can make a lot of money. I have a friend, and I'm not even gonna say who she is. She's a big deal in Minneapolis. She's a big deal. She generally nets, I won't say nets, but her GCI, which is gross commission income. You guys know what GCI is when we say that? Gross commission income. Like if you sell a house and the gross commission is $9,000, that's GCI. Her GCI is normally between $2 and $3 million a year. She makes a lot of money. How much does she actually have? That's a totally different story. Totally different story, right? So the purpose of her business, so, you know, we could say, yeah, the purpose of business is to make money. She does. She makes a lot of it. The girl's making a killing. How much does she keep? Different story. So the purpose of business is not just to make money, it's to make a profit. And so we have to do that by doing several different things. Being financially sound, you know, which talks about our revenue and things we're spending money on and all of those kinds of things. So that's the purpose of business. Let me get out of this because I'm in the, what are you guys looking at right now? What do you see on my screen?
We're seeing everything there you go. You're in presentation mode now.
Okay. What do you see now? Does it say money is good for the good it can do?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Only thing I'm gonna say about this is a quote from Gary Keller, and the reason I bring it up, you'll be surprised subconsciously how many people actually do think money is bad. And I say that in saying, some people can't see themselves. When I said that, you know, she makes $2 million, some people can't see themselves there for some reason. There's a lot of different reasons why people can't see themselves there. But at the core of it, some people don't like to talk about money and they feel like it's a bad thing to have a lot of money. You know, and even and so sometimes what we'll start when the Old Ignite, the very first day of the Old Ignite, and actually we did it in this climb class too, where remember you guys, when we talked about how much money do you want to make? What number is going to go in this box? Remember we talked about that?
Yes.
And people generally don't like to start there. And when I have one-on-one consultations with some agents will be like, you know, Julia, it's not really about money for me. It's about world peace, and it's about saving the hungry children, and it's about, you know, and yes, I do know, and that's fantastic, and that's awesome, and it all costs money. You can't save any hungry children if you don't have no money.
Right.
You can't. So people feel like it's bad if I talk about wanting to make a lot of money. You know, why you want to make all that money? Why you got to talk about making money all the time? And so I appreciate that this quote is in here, because you need to make money in order to be able to do good. You can't go out into the middle of the ocean and save anybody who's drowning if you don't have a boat. You know, money is good for the good it can do. So it's okay to talk about money. It's okay to want a lot of money, desire a lot of money, because money does do good. There's a lot of good you can do with money. And that's what the good of money is for. So when we talk about that, don't limit. Remember we talked about only thinking big. Don't limit what you think you can make or what you feel like you deserve to make. Because we need a lot of money to do a lot of good. There's a lot of good that needs to be done right about now. And none of it's free. Yeah, none of it's free.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you think, you know, even when, you know, no matter what you think you can contribute by doing good, it always comes down to costing something, even if it's your time. But if it's your time, that means you were taking it away from where you could be making money. And so therefore you need to have enough money to be able to do the good, you know. So you need to just have money. So that's just some food for thought. But what we've got here is talking about financially sound versus unsound. And I know that in your participant materials, which is why I wanted somebody to send it to me. So thank you, Payal. There's a couple of scenarios of someone. So we have 2 scenarios on page 4 of your participant guide. And I'm going to pull it up real quick here too. So if you go to page 4, where's my participant guide? Go to page 4 of your participant guide. We should have one about Jessica. Yes. Jessica's a new agent. She earned $9,000 in commission after paying the broker. She received a check of $57.60. She deposited it into her bank account to pay for her personal credit cards and her household expenses. Okay, so it's given us an example of the commission, $9,000, how much Jessica got, how much went into her bank account, how much went into her wallet. Okay, she didn't save any money and she didn't pay any taxes off of it. All right. Well, then we have another scenario number 2, about Jessica. Jessica receives a check in the amount of $57.60, right? That's what she got after she paid her broker. She deposited into her business banking account because we run a business. She paid herself a salary, okay, $4,000, which went into her personal bank account. Then she transferred 40% of her salary to her personal account for her taxes. Okay, this leaves Jessica with $24.19 to now pay her household expenses and living expenses. So there is pretty simple. The question is, which one is financially sound? Well, that's pretty obvious. Obviously, number 2 is financially sound. So from her personal account. Now, if you guys don't, I'm going to guess everybody doesn't have the participant guide right now. Is that an assumption?
I have it up.
You do? Just a couple people. I'm going to actually just share it real quick so that people who don't have it up can see what I'm talking about. Do you see my Google Doc here? Do you see financially sound? Okay. Yes. So here's the scenario 1. She had the commission. She got $57.60 of it, put it in her personal account. She paid her stuff out of it. Scenario number 2, she put it in her business account. Some went to her personal account for her payroll. From that, she paid her taxes. There was a state, the self-employment, blah, blah, blah. And then she kept $24.19. And that's what she used to pay her credit cards and stuff. Okay, does that make sense, that little scenario there? That's what your life should look like, guys. This is the scenario it should look like. Even if you wanted to print this out and stick it to the wall or something, that's what your financial expense should look like. So that's a financially sound example.
I have a question, Julia.
Yeah.
So should you have like a set salary, or can you change it up and down depending on how much?
I would say to, and in here it talks about talking to an accountant or a CPA about your personal situation of what you should do. There have been years where I always paid myself the same because I knew about how much I was going to get. And this year I just randomly deposit stuff into my personal account for my payroll. So it depends on, you really want to just see what your accountant wants you to do. But it varies. It depends on your personal situation. So that was our scenario for her. Okay, financially sound business example. Okay, we already did this. We talked about her. MREA models. In the MREA economic model, because somebody asked how much should you be spending on expenses and how much should you be spending on taxes and et cetera, et cetera. In the MREA model, it gives you models and systems. So if you have income, there's 100% of your income. 30% of it should be spent on cost of sales. We're going to talk about that, what a cost of sale is in just a minute. Cost of sales is like your split, you know, things you had to pay out of your commission. 30% to operating expenses, and then 40% of it is basically your net income. That's kind of the percentages of how things should look. 30% to expenses, 30% to cost of sales, 40% is your net income. So when we made our goals in the very beginning, because we didn't know all of this yet, our goals were made based off of just basically assuming the whole GCI was ours, right? Which I think we probably took out a company dollar. But now you understand that in order to determine how much profit you're going to make, you're really only keeping 40%. Yes. That's how much you're really keeping. So that's kind of how that idea works. So again, all of these models are in the MREA book. And those are where these percentages come from. It gives you a good idea and a good breakdown. Oh, good. It told me what page it's on. It's on 157. Let me pull it up in my MREA book. Yay. It gives you examples of how much you should be paying. It's a little chart. I know you can't see the details, but it gives you an example of how much you should be paying on certain things. For instance, I don't know if you guys know, I was an MCA. Do you know what an MCA is? We have all these acronyms, but an MCA is a Market Center Administrator. Lindsay is our MCA here. Christy is the assistant MCA, the person who takes care of the books for the office, right? So I was an MCA for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. As an MCA, we use the same models as a market center as you use as an actual individual agent. So for salaries, for instance, we had a staff of, I don't know, maybe now it's bigger, but back in the day it was only 3 or 4 of us, but now there's probably like 8 or 9 of them. And the salary expense can never exceed 30% of your income. Okay, so that's a system and a model. Same with your business. If you're paying yourself and maybe you at one point get some assistance and you have employees of your business, that expense should never exceed 30%. Where do we get these numbers from? Right here in the Red Book. That's what I'm saying. You get these numbers, you don't have to figure out life. That's the great thing about Keller Williams. It's in the book. You know, you don't have to figure out how much percentage should I be spending on operating, how much should I spend on marketing, how much should I spend on technology and supplies. It breaks it all down in detail. You should be spending this much on salary. You should be spending this much on lead generation. You should be spending this much on your phone. You should be spending this much on education, auto. It gives you a system and a model of exactly how much you should be spending. It's on 157 of the MREA book. Okay. So you don't have to, again, you guys do not have to figure out life. It's in the book. I don't remember who I was telling, maybe it was Jake. I was telling you yesterday, Jake. There's a girl that, she's a mega agent, and she actually has her own office in Minneapolis, and she sold 175 houses her first year in real estate. And if you ask her how she did it, she literally step by step does everything the book said. She didn't do anything different. She didn't think she was smarter than the book. She didn't come up with any new systems and models that she thinks might work better. She did this and she went to Bold. She did exactly what they said to do in Bold. She did exactly what the book said, and she's a beast. You know, so you don't have to figure it out. I think a lot of times we spend too much time trying to figure all this stuff out. And it's all in the book. Even hear about how do I pick somebody to hire? Hiring talent is in the book. It's all in the book. Like, you just read the book. What did you say, Chris? You said something, right?
No, you was actually having that conversation with me.
Oh, it was you. Okay, yeah, you. Okay, yeah. But yeah, all of that, it's in the book. So don't get carried away trying to figure out all this stuff. It's not that complicated. Somebody else already figured it out. So that's that. Let's talk about the flow of money. And I'll be honest with you guys, I looked at this last night and I was confused by what they were trying to relay in this graph. So if I decide we're not talking about it anymore, we're just gonna not talk about it anymore. But this part makes sense, obviously. Income, that's what goes in. Expenses, that goes out, that's profit. Boom, that makes sense. Where I was a little bit confused, and maybe somebody can help me understand what this is. More so, I believe this is in regards to goal setting, because again, we don't want to goal set for our income. We want to goal set for our profit. Goal setting for income is irrelevant. We need to know how much we're going to keep, which means we also need to know what our expenses are going to be and how we're going to minimize those expenses. And then we can determine what that income needs to look like. And that's how many homes that we need to sell. So that's how I interpret this graph. Does anybody interpret it differently?
No, that's the correct way to interpret it.
That's,
Okay.
and that's would be mine too.
So the question is, here's the question. This is a simple question. How much do I want in my bank account at the end of the year? That's the question. We're talking profit now, right? Then we go backwards. Okay, then how many homes do I need to sell to achieve that? How can I minimize my expenses to maximize my income? That's basically what these flow of money is saying for us. So question, that's a great question. What kind of expenses do we know automatically that we have?
Gas,
Payroll,
office, payroll.
Yeah,
advertising,
advertising, yeah. What else?
taxes, your taxes.
Taxes, yeah, those are all expenses. Well, first let's start here with what is even income. Let's back up. What's income? Income is listing income, sales income, referral income, listing income. That's income for your real estate business, right? Any other kind of income that you guys might be receiving?
Profit share.
Hey, I like that. That's my, who said that?
That would be me.
I can't see your face. Who is that? Would be me.
It's Edel.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Edel, profit share is my favorite thing on the face of the earth to talk about. I love profit share. And okay, well, since you brought it up and it's my favorite thing to talk about, how many of you guys currently receive any profit share, and is it part of your business plan? Who is currently receiving profit share? You are probably Edel, right?
I am.
Yeah. And so for the rest of you who are currently not receiving profit share, when you set your business plan for 2020, was profit share part of the plan? And if it was not, why not? That's what I call free money.
I love it.
There's no better income in the world than passive income. You know, and so if we are not thinking how to create and generate more passive income, we are thinking wrong. Otherwise, you're just going to be working a lot all the time. The point is to work ourselves out of the business, right? In order to work yourself out of the business where you're still receiving income, you need to have passive income. So our business plan consists of certain ways that you can generate passive income. And so therefore, what does that passive income look like? Where does it come from? Boom, profit share. That's the first place it should come from. How do you get profit share? Nobody wants you to go out trying to be a recruiting person. That's not what you are. However, in the course of real estate, true or untrue, do we not encounter other real estate agents?
Yes.
Who potentially maybe do not currently work at Keller Williams? Is it that hard to say, hey, you know what, Chris, I enjoy doing this transaction with you. You're a great agent. Would you mind if I had my team leader call you and just reach out? I'd love to have her talk to you.
Pretty easy to do.
Okay, boom. That's it. That's it. And grow your profit share tree so that you can, and now I gotta tell my, Edel, you just said profit share. Now I gotta tell my profit share story. Boy, you got me going. I love profit share. I am gonna, just because I just brought up Amanda who sold 175 houses in her first year, my favorite profit share story, and I'll be quick with it. I do receive profit share. I love profit share. In fact, the 21st is my favorite day of the month because that's what day we get profit share deposited. First thing I do when I wake up on the 21st is roll over and log into wellsfargo.com. Let me see it. Let me see what I got. I love profit share. Anyways, I have a building that I own in Minneapolis, and next to it is a vacant lot. I bought the building on auction, and the vacant lot belongs to the county, okay? So I called the county and said, I want to buy the lot. They said, you can't just buy the lot. We've got a whole process, boo, 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 boo. And we have to put it up for auction as well, and so on and so forth. Okay, whatever, long story short, then they said, okay, we're gonna finally put it on auction, and the starting bid is $10,000. And of course, I was like, that's ridiculous. This lot is not worth $10,000. It's landlocked, it's blah, blah, blah. I'm a realtor, I know what I'm talking about. Where did you get your value from? You know, I just throw this whole little thing. I'm coming down to the meeting, you know, all of that. So then they said, fine, lady, what do you think it should be valued at? I said $2,000. Now, granted, I know good well that lot is worth $10,000, but I just don't want to pay $10,000. So I'm like, $2,000. So they said, fine, we'll start the bidding at $2,000. Auction day comes, they start the bidding at $2,000. Nobody showed up but me. Guess what day it was of the month, y'all?
The 21st.
It was the 21st auction day. And that day, I remember specifically, my profit share check was $2,400 on that day. And so I bought that lot with my profit share check, right? So I never spent any money. That's passive income. I never did anything for that $2,400 other than tell people I like to work at Keller Williams, you know? So I used the profit share check to buy the lot. Now, the lot is a $50,000 lot. People ask me all year long, been asking me to buy that lot for $40,000, $50,000. The lot is $50,000 lot. How much did I pay for the lot?
Nothing.
Nothing, really.
Keller Williams bought me a $50,000 lot, right? That's my favorite story. So anyways, in that building and on that lot, that's where Amanda runs her business in that building. So I don't pay for that either. She pays rent to be in the building, that all of that. But that's my favorite profit share story because I love to tell how Keller Williams bought me a $50,000 lot. So if you don't got no profit share, get you some, okay? It's the best thing ever. So, okay, moving on. Edel's point, profit share is income. Yes, it is. Passive income, best kind of income you ever can find. What's the cost of sale? Our commission split to the office, right? That 30% royalties to KW, that's the cost of sale. A cost of sale is anything related to a transaction that you make, okay? Commission splits that you have to pay to employees, referral fees, coaching fees, those are all costs of sale. That's the cost of sale. Does that make sense? Anything else that you can think of that might be a cost of sale?
Team split.
What'd you say, Lakeisha?
The split between the team.
Team splits, yep, team splits, yep. That's a cost of sale. Anything else that's a cost of sale? Okay, so just so that we understand how this works, we've got a little scenario here where, well, why aren't the numbers? What in the world? Oh, they want us to put our own numbers in? Anyway, so this would be your GCI. Say we have the $9,000 here. Then we're gonna subtract the company dollar and the royalties and whatever other splits. If you have coaching splits, team splits, or whatever else, gives you net commission, all right? However, the beauty of Keller Williams is that you get to cap. You don't pay the company dollar forever. You only pay it until you've paid your $18,000, and then you're capped on that. You don't pay royalties forever. You pay royalties till you paid your $3,000, and then you're capped on that. So ultimately, it's $21,000, and you're capped on that, and you get the net commission. Everybody understands how capping works?
Yes.
Yes.
So you also understand that the name of this game is to cap as quickly as possible, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
So the point of this game is to cap as quickly as we possibly can, so that you get to keep 100% of your commission. That's the name of the game. Activity, plan for our future. I like planning for our future. All right, what are we gonna do here? Page 10 of your participant guide, if you have it. If you don't, I'll pull it up for you. Let me see, do we wanna do this game? I'm gonna see if we want to do this game. I'll pull it up real quick just so you can see, but I think this is actually probably something that may best be spent. I want you to actually be able to give some thought to it because it requires thought. I'm going to pull it up in your participant guide as well. Plan for the future. So let me share this slide so you can see it. This is in your participant guide. And this is basically an activity to plan for the future. Now we're starting with what is the net profit that you want to make. And if you have your participant guide, you can follow along. I just know that you don't all have it. And then what is the gross profit goal? Meaning that's going to be before you, we're not doing this activity, you know why? Because everybody's is gonna be way too different. We're not gonna. I'm gonna move on to help you figure out best practices and how you're gonna set up your financials. Go back to that page though at some point and do fill in your numbers. What page was that? Page 10 in your participant guide. Do go in and fill it out so that you know exactly what your profit goal needs to be, and more importantly, so you know how many homes you need to sell. That may prompt you to change your business plan for this year. You may change what's on your 411 for this year based on this particular activity. We're gonna skip it because it is very individualized and it will take up too much time if I have to go through it with everybody. So, but please do go back and do that on your own. But let's talk about, let's move forward and I do wanna talk about best practices. This is on page 11 in your participant guide. It's basically a checklist. I'm gonna bring it up on a different screen so it looks better. So on page 11, we've got this checklist, right? Yes. And I love to talk. We're just going to literally go through it because these are all things that you should have checked off. And it even has given you a date, you know, when you can put down when you're going to actually have it done. So first things first, I want to have a conversation about gaining clarity on your big life. We talked about that in the first sessions of Climb. Somebody talked to me about, remind me why you're here and what your big life looks like. I'd love to hear it. Share with us. Give us some inspiration this morning. Share with us your big life, what your hopes and dreams are. Why are you in this business? What's the point? You're all here for no reason whatsoever.
I'll start. My printer's printing because I was printing it off. So if you hear something in the background. So my big life is basically to have financial freedom from the standpoint that my business is able to pay off all of my bills and I'm profiting whatever my goal is every single year. My big life is to be all things real estate. I want to buy, sell, and invest in real estate and also have rental properties as far as residential properties for that passive income.
Okay. I love that. Tell me more. So you got some money. You told us how you're gonna make some money. Okay. Now what do you do with all that? What's the point?
For my family, for me to
Do
live
what with your family?
freedom,
When you're
vacation,
free, what are you gonna do when you're
create the
free?
passive income, and be able to do whatever I want to do with my time otherwise.
Okay. If you do have time where you don't have to work, what would you do with your time?
A lot of vacations.
To where?
Jamaica's my spot.
Okay. So
And probably outside of Jamaica, wherever a Sandos resort is, because I love
I
Sandos.
like sandals too. You ever been to Antigua Sandals? That's where it's at. But he wants to Chris wants to travel to Caribbean islands with his family.
Yes.
And not have to worry about how much it costs. And in fact, he's making money while he's gone, sitting on the white beaches and the sand going through his feet. And the sun is beaming on his head, and he's making money anyway because he has built a life by design. That's Chris's big life. That's what it looks like for Chris. And so in order to do that, he's going to have some investments, some business investments, some financial investments, some property that he owns. That is in his life he's built by design through real estate. That's what his big life looks like. I love it. Somebody else share. Don't leave Chris hanging out here by himself.
Yeah, and I have to answer the door right quick just to let you
Okay,
know.
go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I'll share. I would like to pay off my debt, and make money so that I can help others that in need. Make plenty of money so that I can have security for my family as well. And I still vision the boat, purchasing a boat.
All right. Let me ask y'all something. Where do y'all ride boats around here? There's like no water.
Lake Ray Hubbard, Lake Levon.
Yeah, it's water around here.
We've got like 7 lakes in the DFW. What are you talking about?
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, there's lakes. You can literally drive in any direction and you'll hit a lake.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Lake Fork.
How big are they?
Nice size.
Big enough for a boat?
Big enough for a boat?
They're about the size of a lake.
I'm from Atlanta, 10,000 lakes, and we have the largest lakes in the country. So we're used to a lot of water. I came here, it's like, where's the water? And but okay, there's lakes here. So you want a boat to ride on all these lakes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun.
You want to make a lot of money. What's a lot of money?
Oh gosh. I'd be tickled if I was able to pay myself $200,000 a year. That's a lot of money to me.
Okay. That's very doable. That's great. So that would help you live your big life.
Very comfortably.
Yeah. Okay. Someone else, what's a big life look like? And then we can move on to the next one. You guys have small lives. I want to hear about big lives.
You said something earlier, like when we were talking about money and how sometimes people get uncomfortable talking about money or because money is a good thing. Sometimes I feel like it's hard for me to talk about money, and sometimes it's really hard for me to visualize. Like when I say paying myself $200,000 a year, that would be amazing. And you say, well, that's very doable.
Mm-hmm.
That's encouraging for me to hear that. where I sit today, not having, a very large sphere, it's hard for me to visualize that.
Mhm. It's very easy. It is very doable. And even if you would have said 500,000, I would have thought that was very doable. You just have to be willing to do the activities that it takes to do it.
You should do the exercise with 200,000 and show her how much she needs to do to get to 200.
You want to go back to that exercise we were doing? That
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it for everybody?
Do it
Okay.
with 200K. Who
Yeah.
doesn't want to make 200K?
Right. Is there anybody on this call who doesn't, where did it go in my PowerPoint? Is there anybody who doesn't want to make $200,000 on this call?
Nope, not a single person.
Further, you know what? I'm going to do one better. Because this activity in here isn't very detailed. I'm going to pull up, give me a second. I'm going to pull up my MREA Excel spreadsheet that we use, because that specifically tells us how many appointments we need. And that's what's more important to me than how many houses you need to sell. How many houses you need to sell is great, but what's really important is how many appointments do you need to go on to sell that many houses? I'm going to pull that up. That's what I'm going to do, the actual Excel version. And so I'm going to do that because everybody wants to sell 200,000. And so this will be helpful for us all. Give me just a second. You can't see a spreadsheet right now yet though, right?
No.
No.
Okay. I just want to make sure because this is somebody else's and I don't want you seeing their business. Let me just delete their stuff out of here real quick. And in fact, I'm happy to, what in the world? In fact, I'm happy to share this with you guys as well so that you can play around with it.
Okay.
And plug your numbers into it, and it would tell you exactly how many appointments you need to go on based on your conversion rate, which I understand you don't have one yet. So you can use 75 or 70 as a placeholder for your conversion rates since you don't have your own, but something's wrong with it. What's going on? It's looking funny. I can't get it to pull up. Well, here, let me finish going through this list, and then at the end, when we have time, that's a perfect idea, Edel, thank you. We'll go through exactly what that looks like and what you need to do and how many appointments you need to hold to make $200,000 because, again, it is very doable. And I am excited to have you guys do it. So let's finish this list first, and then we'll go back to that. Let me get you guys back to the list because it's looking funny and it's going to take, I don't want to take up too much time pulling it up. Okay, so Big Life, we've got that. We know how that works. You see my best practices checklist right now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, so the second thing we need to do is set personal and business budgets. How many people currently have a budget in your personal life or for your business?
Personal.
Not very many, huh? Well, here's the thing. Some people feel like I don't even have enough money to have a budget. You do, because if we have said no matter how much money or how little money you have, you need to budget what you're spending to make sure that you still have a profit, and you can estimate this. These are all estimated, but you set up your personal and business budgets on how much you plan to spend on marketing, how much you plan to spend in life in general. Have any of you guys ever heard of Mint.com? Mint.com is a personal budgeting tool. So like if you know that you are going to have an income of $5,000 is coming in every month for you to spend, and you need to budget how you're going to spend that $5,000, you can use this tool to specifically say, I'm going to spend this much on groceries, this much on utilities, this much on the mortgage, this much on my kids' activities, this much on eating out, this much on, set a personal budget. And again, it's another one of those systems that attaches directly to your bank account. I turned mine off because I like to eat out. And mine used to say, you're at 95% of your eating out budget. And I'm like, get out of my face. I don't want to hear that. But it would alert you, and it gives me alerts when you have, because as soon as I give my card to the waitress, right, and they run it, it tells them that I'm at a restaurant and I just spent this amount of money, and it automatically tells me you've reached 90% of your eating out budget. And so that, I used to have that on my phone to help me budget my personal income. But you need to have a budget for your personal income, especially for your business. Edel, I feel like you were going to say something.
Yeah, they're part of the Intuit system. So I definitely used to love them. I also turn it off at the exact same reason though. My food budget just kept growing and growing, and it really was.
Oh, I was like, leave me alone. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I also love their system, especially because like Intuit is also the same people that do TurboTax. So
Yes,
back
look.
when I used to be just me and not in the business, I would use them a lot.
Yes.
Now I
So,
use an accountant.
so if you want to just look into that, you guys, it's just mint.com, and you can just look it up, and it's really easy to set a personal budget for yourself and set, so you can budget your money. And specifically, you need to budget your business's money. Again, all those expense items that we talked about. So that is an action item that you need to set up for yourself. And you need to even set a goal of when you're going to get this activity done by setting up a personal and business budget for yourself. The next thing on the list is setting up your business entity. This means, are you going to be a sole proprietorship? Are you going to be an LLC? There's different kinds of LLCs. There's an S Corp, there's a C Corp. What kind of LLC are you going to be? That's a conversation, one to have with your CPA and your accountant, on what kind of business entity you need to be, and especially how you're going to pay yourself and all of that kind of thing. So you need to determine, there's a million classes that you can take on setting up your business entity, on how you want it to look, but we are a business and you need to behave as such. And so you do need to have a business entity set up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does anyone currently already have a business entity set up? No.
I do.
You do? What kind of business entity do you have?
This is Chris. I have an LLC set up.
Okay. Anyone else?
My accountant set up an LLC, and then I get paid as an S Corp. I don't know how it works. Apparently it saves me taxes though.
Yeah, and so that's perfect, because that's on our checklist. Hire somebody who does know how it works. That's great. I'm glad you don't need to be an expert in everything. That's why we leverage and hire other people, right? Your expertise is real estate. So,
That's exactly right.
So that's on our list, as well as to hire somebody who does know. Consult with an attorney, a CPA, an accountant. Ask them those questions about your personal self. What kind of business entity should I set up? How do I pay myself? Should I pay myself as an S Corp? What does it even mean? And how much of it do I really need to understand? You need to understand basics of it, but ultimately that's what you hire someone else to do. So for sure, that's part of our checklist as well. And even I'm kind of surprised by the order of this, because I feel like the hire an accountant, CPA, and attorney should be before set up your business entity, because we don't necessarily all have the knowledge to know what is best for us. So if it were up to me, and if you're putting dates by this checklist, I would say that date should come before you set up your business entity, so that you can consult with someone on what kind of business entity you should even be setting up. And then that will help you to calculate and pay your estimated taxes. Open an additional bank account for your taxes, expenses, and other savings. So you have a business for yourself, of course. We talked about having a business account. That's where all your money goes into. What other kind of accounts may you want to have set up? The business account could certainly be the same account that you're using for taxes and expenses, but maybe you have a different account for savings, or a different account for, what kinds of bank accounts could we potentially have set up for our business?
Retirement fund.
You said what? I'm sorry?
A retirement fund?
Yeah, absolutely. A retirement fund, 401k, IRA. I have a 401k because I'm an employee, right, of my own business. My business matches my 401k. My Icon Development matches my Julia Lachey 401k. I got a match. So you have a 401k set up, or IRA, or whatever it is, some sort of retirement fund. Okay. What else should we have an account for?
Taxes.
Yes, an account for taxes. That's money you don't touch, because that needs to be paid quarterly. And for some people, they don't have enough restraint to have that in the same account as your business account, or accessible to you, so they put that in a separate account.
Profit account.
A profit. Tell me, what's that? What's a profit account?
So I read the Profit First book, and it tells us to take a certain amount of profit from our business and put it in a separate account, and that's kind of our fund money. And that's what I've been doing. So I just take 5% of whatever I make, and I put it into that account, and then that's like just me to splurge. And I don't know if you guys know me, but I pretty much splurge all the time. So when I'm really splurging, I go crazy.
You don't have a budget, Edel?
My budget is flexible. If I haven't maxed out a credit card, then I'm still good.
It's budget is flexible. OMG. Okay.
He like living life on edge, I see.
Okay, yeah. Some of us have more restraint than Edel and are more financially conservative. But make sure you do have different accounts. So determine what kind of different accounts you have. If you don't even have a business account set up, that's something you for sure want to put a date next to when you decide, when are you going to go do that, okay? Download and use the MREA chart of accounts. Here's why that's helpful, because the next thing says to purchase and download tax accounting software. In any tax accounting software, they're going to have a chart of accounts, meaning this is for my gas, this goes to the meals, this goes to the office expenses. That's a chart of accounts, okay?
529. So does the 529 counts?
Yeah, that's I think that's in the chart of accounts.
It's a college savings fund.
Savings, yeah, that's a savings, and that might be separate from your business though, because that's a college savings. But for sure, to open a bank account for it, yes. But downloading your chart of accounts will tell you all of the different, items that you have money for. So chart of accounts is something you should download. And my purpose of the tax accounting software, part of that is in your tax accounting software, there is a chart of accounts. You can change those, of course. So if you decide you're going to use QuickBooks today, there's online QuickBooks. You can even use online QuickBooks on your phone. And again, like I said, it will identify things coming out of your business account. If I stop for gas right now, it's going to automatically go into my QuickBooks chart of account, into the gas account. Okay, now you can rename those for whatever service you're using for your tax accounting software to match up with the MREA chart of accounts. So basically the MREA chart of accounts is giving you an idea of all the different types of accounts you should have in there, and you can make those match, and you can put those into your accounting software. You can just edit it. But
Where
again,
we're downloading that from? The MREA
you
chart?
can download it right from the mykw.com.
Okay.
If you just search MREA chart of accounts, it should be a download. It's also in this book, but I still can't find the page. I don't understand why. Anyways, your accountant, your CPA should be able to assist you with all of that, at least assist you in getting it set up. I have some things in my chart of accounts that are specific to my accountant. In fact, they have an account in the chart of accounts that says, ask my accountant. So everything I don't know where it goes, that's where it goes. And then they figure out where it goes. But that should be there. Again, setting dates to calculate and pay your estimated taxes. You do not want to get caught with your pants down, meaning you do not want to get caught at the end of the year having not paid any quarterly taxes, no estimated taxes, because there's a fee for that. If you did not pay quarterly taxes as an independent contractor, they charge you extra for not having paid when you were supposed to pay quarterly. So you want to make sure you know when those dates are and you've set aside money for that. Preparing for your future. Let's talk about that a little bit. What kind of insurance should you have as a business owner or in life in general?
Medical.
What kind?
Medical.
Okay, medical insurance for sure.
Liability.
Life
insurance, absolutely. Obviously, car insurance. Quick thing about car insurance. If you happen to, you need to let your car insurance carrier know that you use your car for business. It's not, people are afraid to do that. It's really not an extra, it's not a lot extra. I don't even know that you would even notice the difference, but it's a big difference if something should happen while you're performing business and you get in a car accident. Maybe you are, you have a client following you to a house and you're using your car for business, you're showing a house and they ask you what happened. And I was showing a house to a client, oh, you use your car for business. If you never told them that, they will find a reason not to cover whatever happened, okay? So you do want to make sure that your insurance provider knows that you're using your car for business. It's not, you don't got to be worried about being scared that it's going to skyrocket your price. It really doesn't. It's just a little extra box that they check to make sure that you're covered in the event that you are performing a business activity and something should happen. So that's something you want to remember about car insurance. But yeah, we want car insurance, health insurance, life insurance. Any other type of
Yes.
insurance?
Some kind of disability, maybe possibly?
Yes, possibly some sort of disability. Even if you have a car payment or something like that, they generally offer you and say, hey, if something happens where you can't work, do you want to have this insurance to be able to pay your expenses? Those kind of disability insurances are helpful. And of course, no one ever anticipates anything going wrong, but that's what insurance is for. We don't expect anything to go wrong. You just want to make sure that you're prepared in the event that it does. How about savings accounts? Talk to me about savings accounts.
We should always have a savings account for unexpected life events, I think.
Okay, so just basic savings account for things that might happen.
Mhm.
Okay, what else? What other kind of savings accounts or investment accounts maybe should you have? We already talked about maybe having, Payel said maybe a 529 education account. We talked about having some sort of retirement account. What else could we potentially have? Any other kind of accounts we potentially might want to have? No?
I think that's pretty much.
Yeah, that's the gist of them. So while I'm pulling up, I'm having trouble pulling up any of these calculators for some reason. So while I'm pulling it up, let's just recap on some of the things that you might have questions about up until this point. What kind of things do you still want to know more about, or do you have questions about before we move forward? Nothing?
Oh, remember you had mentioned the thing about when we started was the taxes commission and like the percentage that Jake, I think, started with.
Oh, you wanted to show the Excel sheet? Is that what you're talking
Oh
about?
yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm pulling up the CGI calculator now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, but something has been wrong with my KW for some reason, and I cannot click on stuff. It's weird. Weird, but that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Maybe we can do that on Friday if we have trouble looking up.
I got it. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen with you guys here. Has anybody ever used the CGI calculator in KW? I'm gonna show you it. Can you see it? It says CGI calculator. Can y'all see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, thank you. I can't see you while I have it up, so you got to talk. Yeah. So if you were shaking your head, I couldn't see it. So I'm going to go back now that I was able to get into there and show you how to get in it. When you are on your all these error messages. When you're on your KW Connect, which is where I went, you don't necessarily have to go there. I'm trying to go all the way back so I can show you from the beginning. And I have been having trouble with my KW. Okay. You can see my main screen. Everybody knows how to get here, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. If you go under, I think I went there. On this right-hand side, actually, I went to growth.
Are you in, okay, so, you in Connect?
I am in
Command.
Connect now. Yep, I'm in Connect, and on the right-hand side by your picture, you can click on growth. And then when you do that, you click on the career growth initiative. I hope this works again because I was just having trouble getting in here. It's a problem. And are you still seeing my screen? Does it say Julia Lachey Israel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is what your CGI looks like once it's set up. But what we want to do is actually set it up, and we're going to use that $200,000 goal as our profit goal. So if you click on View Full CGI Calculator, the calculator is going to tell me how many listings I need to have. And this is all the agents in my office. Let me get back to my own. I want to set my own goal. Yours might look different because I have everybody. But this is what it looks like. Can you see this calculator on the right hand?
Yes.
Okay. So also, if you're on a team or you have a team, at the top, you can say whether or not you're a listing and buying agent, whether you're a listing agent, buyer's agent, whatever. We want to make 200,000 in profit, right?
Yep.
Take home. We're talking take home, not income.
Right.
It already has that defaulted 40% that it's asked us to put aside for taxes in here. And it also has our $3,000 royalty in here. And it also has our company cap in here. Here's where you can put what your monthly expenses are for your business. How much are you spending on your business? For instance, your office fees, your signs, your advertising, your gas, all of those kinds of things. How much are you actually spending? It may be much more than this. You may want to use that 30% suggested amount or whatever, but this is just what I have it in here because it's normally, I don't spend much more than that on real estate business. Additional means if you have a salary or a draw or anything like that, I'm going to leave it at none. Assuming that I'm going to get 3% of the commission for each of these transactions that I actually sell, and assuming my commission split is 70%, and I'm going to increase this because our market center's average home sale price is about $313. I'm gonna keep that as well. Now, on this CGI calculator, what it is going to ask us is how much of your focus is on sellers. This whole calculator is basically set up from a listing perspective and a listing angle. Why? Why do you think that is?
Because you put listing and selling agent.
Well, even though I put listing and selling agent, but it's not asking me how much is my buyer focus. It's only asking me about my seller focus.
Oh.
Why?
Listings are leverage.
That's the name of this whole game. Remember we talked about the shoe store?
Mhm.
You guys remember my shoe store analogy?
Yeah.
In order to stay in business long-term, you have to have listings. Listings are the name of this game. In fact, if we don't have listings, you don't really have a real estate business. Same as, and for those of you who weren't on that call, I'll share the shoe store analogy. Edel, you and I were gonna go start up a shoe store, okay? And
He's not here.
oh, what happened? He's not there?
I don't think so.
Edel left us? Okay, fine. You know what? I'm starting one with Alma since Edel's not there. Me and Alma are starting the shoe store. Alma and I are starting the shoe store. And what do we need to, never mind we need shoes, but what else do we need in order to start up a shoe store for our business?
Either a storefront or e-commerce.
We need somewhere to do it. We need right? We either need a store or an e-commerce. We need somewhere to do it. What else might we need to start up a shoe store?
Shoes.
Shoes.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Inventory.
Talking to me.
No, that's fine. No, we need all kind of stuff, but ultimately to get to the point, yeah, you're right. We need shoes. And if we don't have any shoes in our shoe store, we really don't have a shoes. Now, Alma could say, Julia, come get in my car and I'm going to drive you around. I'm going to show you all of the other shoes other people are selling. Okay, well, Alma is helping me find some shoes to buy. But Alma doesn't own a shoe store. Okay, Alma's just showing me other people's shoes. That's not what we want to be. We want to own a real estate business, correct? And in order to own a real estate business, just like a shoe store business, we need to have inventory. So we need to have houses. So you have to focus on listings or you really are not in business. You just are showing other people's businesses. So that's how it works. But the seller focus is what keeps you in longevity for a real estate business. So we could say that we're 100% seller focused, 50. We're going to say we're 50% seller focused because it's going to tell us how many, listings we need to have. Now, we can also determine from the same thing how many buyers we need to have, but we really want to focus on that because as long as you hit your listings goals, you're going to always be in business. Anyways, it also gives us a conversion rate. Remember, I said since you don't have one, we'll use the 75%. And that means when you get a listing, how many of them actually close. We're assuming 75% of your listings taken are going to close. We're also assuming 75% of your appointments are going to turn into listings taken. So we've used two different conversion rates here. When we do that and click submit, it updates our goals. And what it goes on to tell me is right down here. It tells me my gross commission income to make $200,000 net, Tricia, is $357,000 GCI. That's how much I need to take in my gross commission income. Okay, how many closings is that? Boom. That's 55 closings that I need to have in order to make $200,000 profit. That means I just simply need to have 5 closings per month. Now, 5 closings per month, isn't necessarily that much. I mean, it sounds sounds like a lot, and it is pretty impressive if you were closing 5 a month, but it's doable. And you know how we would do it? We would do it by, it says 28 of our listings are closed, which means if we did a 50-50, that means we also need to close 28 buyers, right? Because we did 56 closings. 28 of those are listings, 28 of those are buyers because we used a 50% split, right? In order to close 28 listings this year, I need to take 37 listings. So I need to take 4 listings a month. In order to take 4 listings a month, it tells me, come on, I need to go on 50 listing appointments, which means I need to go on 5 listing appointments a month. We could just say I need to go on 1 listing appointment a month. If I went on 1 listing appointment a month, you would have $200,000 in your bank account at the end of the year profit.
Okay.
I mean a week, I'm sorry, if I went on 1 listing appointment per week. If I went on 1 listing appointment per week, I would have net $200,000 profit.
Wow.
So that's why I said it's very doable. You just have to be willing to do what it's going to take to do it. So it summarizes it here for me. I need 5 listing appointments per month. I need to take 4 of those listings. I need to close 5 transactions a month, which is listings and buyers. That's going to net me $200,000 in profit.
Wow. And that includes your taxes?
Yeah, we took out 40% for taxes already in the very beginning. We took that out. Yeah. So if I close 5 houses a month, I would net $200,000.
Wow.
So I get to this calculator in Connect. I could not get to the growth part.
Yeah, here, I was scared to move around too much because I was having so much trouble clicking on stuff. I'm gonna try to go back. I'm trying to go back so I can show you how to get to it. Okay. Anywhere in Connect, do you see your picture in Connect, Chris?
Yes.
Yes.
Next to it, do you see these little 3 dots?
No.
You don't have 3 dots next to your picture?
No.
I don't either.
You don't?
When I go into Command and then I hit Connect right next to it.
Mm-hmm. Don't go through Command. Don't go through Command.
Just do kwconnect.com.
mykw.com. I don't know how to get to it through Command.
Okay, hold on a second.
Go back to your screen that looks like, I'm trying to get there too. Go back to your screen that looks like this.
Oh, okay.
Quit. I'm sorry. I'm telling my cat to quit. She's trying to eat my computer.
Where do you go after this screen, Julia?
So, okay, if you're on your MyKW, you go under education, click on education, and that takes you to KW Connect. But what y'all are telling me is that next to your picture, you don't have 3 little dots there.
No, I don't either.
No, we don't.
Mm-mm.
It says
Bro.
upload next to our picture.
You have a picture though?
We have a picture.
It's a
Yeah.
upload button and then it's a picture.
Really?
Let's see. I'm going to try minimizing mine, Julia, just to see if that makes a
Yeah,
difference.
see if maybe you're just not seeing it. Yeah.
I was
Hey.
able to get to it. Oh, no.
So tell me, Julia, what happens when you click on that 3 dots? Maybe
Well,
I can figure it out.
what would happen is you would go to growth.
I
Okay,
figured
let
out
me
how to
see.
do it from KW.
How you do it? Lakeisha, can you share your screen?
Hold on.
It's on the it's on the top. It's
Yeah,
on the
if you go to
top of
KW
all the it's on the top in the black bar. You'll see growth is the last thing, return, the small menus before right before your
I see that payout. It says growth, and then when you click on that, it says growth, resources, leadership opportunities, and expansion are 3
Just
options.
click on the word growth. Don't click on the other things. Just click on the word growth. And then you should see the career growth initiative.
Yeah, that's where I don't know how y'all gonna get to it. I just want you to get to Career Growth Initiative.
So how do y'all get to it again? Oh,
From
growth,
KW.
growth.
Growth, yeah.
Growth,
Okay,
yes.
gotcha.
Julia, are you on an iPad or tablet by any chance?
I'm not, no, but
Okay.
I have a office version, like, cause I can pull up everybody's CGI. So mine is, I'm on a broker version.
It's also different between mobile and desktop on where the menu is.
Oh, okay, okay. But what you're
Okay.
ultimately trying to get to is the career growth initiative, is what you're ultimately trying to get to.
Career growth initiative.
Yeah, that's ultimately where we're trying to go.
I am there.
So I upped it to 300,000.
Okay, and so on your main screen, when you click in growth initiative, because I put in those goals, can y'all see my screen, CGI goals this month?
Yes.
Okay, because I put in those goals, now every time I log into that, and this also will show up on my Kelly app, it will tell me I need 5 listing appointments, 4 taken, 5 closing. And as they update the closings that I've had, it will tell me what my performance was in May. It looks like I had 1.5 closings in May, and I made $5,800 in GCI in May, which is great. I didn't even know that. That's fantastic. But yeah, so it automatically updates this for you and tells you how close you are to where you're supposed to be. I'm supposed, according to my goal I put in, I should have 5 listing appointments. Take 4.
I'm not able to click on growth when I toggle my cursor there. It says growth resource, leadership opportunities, and expansion. I can't just click on growth. I have to choose one of them. What did you guys do?
Eventually,
No,
I
when I
was
got
able
to the
to.
word growth, it at first it doesn't look like it's gonna let you click, but if you keep moving your cursor, you'll see the line go under it where you should be able to click it, because mine was doing the same thing.
I'm on mobile and it wouldn't let me, pal, but all you have to do is either right click and open it in a new window or new tab, or just hold it. If you're on like an iPad or tablet, something, hold on that word and it'll give you an option to open it in a new tab, and then it should work.
Let me try from Google Chrome. I've been using Safari because I know Safari
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah. So almost all KW technology and websites, they're all supposed to be run through Chrome.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you guys, I want to make sure, I forgot to remind you, I would love for you guys to stick around at 10:30. It's a different link, but it's Wednesday, so there's Lead Gen Wednesday, and if you stick around for that, they'll give you leads. So so if you could, if you're available, it's on the calendar and stuff, so it's not this link, of course, but when we jump off, for those of you who can, please do still go to the Lead Gen, so you can, lead gen, just practice your scripts and all that kind of stuff, but also so you can get leads for today. Because now that we know we need 5 listings or whatever, we got to get on it, right?
Yep.
I got it from Google Chrome.
Oh, good. Okay.
Whatever Lakeisha was talking, I get a underline under the growth. But
Okay.
Thank you, Lakeisha. So anyway, I have a question about the do not call thing. We keep hearing you have to check if the phone is not under do not call registry. How do I check it?
Jake, do you know the answer?
Yeah, it's just Google Do Not Call List. It's a free thing. You can check up to 5 area codes at once, I think. Like you.
So you just
Google it and you'll find the list. Yes, it's a public document.
all right. So you just put the whole number over there after
You'll
registering.
follow the directions on the website. I mean,
Okay.
some
Okay.
people
Thank you.
download the list and do control find. I mean, yeah, you'll just need to follow the directions. But if you Google it, it is a public list that's very easy to work with.
I see. Okay. Thanks.
All right, guys. So any ahas from today?
So, quick question, Julia.
Yes, sir.
This CGI calculator, is this the electronic version of the spreadsheet that you and I?
Different. It's a little bit different because with the spreadsheet that I sent to you, you can change all of it. You can change not just some of those conversion rates. You can change several of the different. The one I sent you, the Excel spreadsheet, is much more detailed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But this is still a good one too.
I like that one. I actually prefer that one. Sometimes the one I sent you is more detailed, but I prefer that one because it's easier to use.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did you send it to all of us, Julia?
Not yet. We're still on the call. Yeah,
Oh,
not
okay.
yet. Not yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I wasn't sure.
but I got you though, girlfriend. I got you. Yeah, not yet though. Yeah. So tell me, how has your thinking changed? What have you learned? Tell me something good. Tell me any ahas you had from this recap. This is a very important class about your money. All right.
I learned a lot.
Important class. Yeah.
For me, I think that it's like, man, everything that we've learned up to this point, you better go back and revisit it, because if we plan on this being our job, our business,
Mm-hmm.
here's the reality as far as the numbers go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why anything is possible. It's just, are you willing to do what it takes? But then it's very helpful to know what it takes. So I'm glad that Edel suggested that, because knowing what it takes, okay, so I need to have 5 closings a month. All right, well, now I know what it takes to make 200,000. Now, quite honestly, it's not that far out of reach. 5 closings is not that far out of reach. That's not that hard. I just need to go on 1 listing appointment a week. So how many people do I need to talk to in order to go on 1 listing appointment a week? You know, how many appointments do I need to set? It tells me exactly how many appointments I need to set. So you do have to just do the activities, you know. It's all within reach. It's all very doable. Anything else?
The shoe store analogy, I like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and it's important. And because, you know, even with my team in Minneapolis, we're known as being buyer's agents, and I don't want to be known as that, because that means we're gonna be out of business real soon. I don't want to be known as somebody who we drive other people around showing them other people's business. You know, we need to have our own business. If you have no inventory, I mean, that's how a real estate market center, that's how this market center is. Every Keller Williams office is run. The numbers that are focused on is how many listings do we have? How many listings do you need to have to stay in business? So the numbers that the market center uses, the numbers that Bill uses, are the same thing that you should be using if he has to estimate how many listings the agents here are going to take. Because if they don't take enough listings, or you don't have enough market share, is what we call that, listings taken, you don't have a real estate business. You're about to be out of business because you don't have any inventory. You have to have the inventory. And now it's very different, of course, if you're a buyer's agent, your job is just to do buyers. That's your job, you know. But if you're actually the business owner or the team owner of the business, your job is listings. And of course, naturally, buyers are going to be a byproduct of that, and you're going to have buyers, and that's great, because ultimately we need 5 closings. But that's easier done if you focus on listing. The buyers are immediate byproduct. You don't have to market for buyers when you have listings. That just automatically comes. So the activity and the energy you should be putting into it should be all into getting listings. Buyers are a byproduct, but the buyers are going to come as a result of having listings, period. You don't have to market for buyers. You should be marketing for listings. Any other questions, guys? Because then we can just go ahead and jump on, well, y'all can. Go ahead and jump on the lead gen right now if you're available.
So, Julie.
Yes.
I was going to say, for that CGI calculator, if I need to ever go back in and try to change it, you just come back to the same thing. You can just go back in and tweak it. So that's the place it'll be held. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Anything else, guys? Well, all right, we'll do contracts tomorrow. And again, please jump on the lead gen. I'll get off right now so you have time to do that. But good to see y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye. Thanks. Thank you, Julia.